5 hours kneeling without moving a muscle. The pain burns like fire for the first 20 minutes and becomes unbearable after 40. Your legs turn purple, the blood stops circulating, your nerves scream for relief. But you can't move. To move is to fail. And for a samurai, failure was not just shame, it was the death of honor. What you are about to discover today about samurai discipline will shatter everything you think you know about human endurance. Prepare yourself, because this will make you question your own limits. Every day at 4 in the morning, in the Japanese winter with sub-zero temperatures, you don't go for a hot bath. You plunge completely naked into an icy river and remain submerged up to your neck for 30 minutes while reciting Buddhist mantras. This was misogi, the daily purification that every samurai practiced before sunrise. Your body goes into thermal shock. Your heart races dangerously, your skin turns purple, but you don't get out. Because for the samurai, conquering the body meant conquering the mind, and conquering the mind meant being ready to face death without fear. Records from the Takeda clan show that their warriors broke the ice of frozen rivers during military campaigns to maintain the ritual. Many died of hypothermia, but the survivors were considered truly worthy of the sword. After the icy water came Caesar, sitting on one's heels for hours. It wasn't just a formal posture, it was deliberate torture that tested the ability to endure pain without showing weakness. During the Edo period, samurai guarding the shogun remained in Caesar for 8-hour shifts, watching the castle corridors. 8 hours without moving their legs, without adjusting their position, without showing discomfort. Medical records from the time describe permanent nerve damage, total loss of sensation in the feet, and chronic pain for the rest of their lives. But complaining was unacceptable. The philosophy was brutal. If you can't control the pain in your own body, how will you control the fear of death in battle? Physical pain revealed who you really were when all social veneer was stripped away. Samurai not only endured pain, they sought it out. Kangeko was winter training where, during the coldest 30 days of January, warriors trained outdoors, barefoot, wearing only light clothing. 6 to 8 hours of kenjutsu daily in the freezing cold. Their hands froze to the point of barely gripping the katana. Their feet bled from cracks, their bodies trembled uncontrollably. But technique could not fail. Every movement had to be perfect because in battle the cold makes no excuses. Masters of the Yagyu Shinkaguryu school documented that students who complained were immediately expelled. If you can't endure training, you can't endure war. And what about food? The samurai practiced takuhatsu, a complete fast of up to 7 days, drinking only water and bitter green tea. It wasn't for weight loss, it was to break the dependence on physical comfort. Zen philosophy taught that hunger was just another sensation, and a true warrior could not be a slave to sensations. During the siege of Osaka in 1614, samurai went without food for weeks, surviving on roots and tree bark. But when they attacked, they fought with the same ferocity as well-fed troops. Their bodies were already conditioned to operate at the absolute limit of deprivation. Now, for the most disturbing part, every samurai practiced shinitai, death meditation, daily. An hour imagining their own death in every possible way. Decapitation, spear piercing, arrows piercing the body, burns, drowning. They visualized every detail. The sound of the blade cutting the flesh, the sensation of warm blood, the pain, the fear, the final darkness. And then they accepted it with absolute tranquility. The goal was to remove the shock of death. When you have already died 1,000 times in your mind, dying for real loses its terror. Yamamoto Tsunetomo wrote in the Hagakure, "Every dawn the samurai must consider himself a dead man." You wake up every day considering yourself already dead. Each day is a bonus. Each battle is merely the fulfillment of the inevitable. Could you spend an hour a day visualizing your own violent death until it no longer had an emotional impact? Leave your opinion in the comments. But the most impressive discipline was Fudoshin, the still mind. To be in the midst of a bloody battle, surrounded by enemies, arrows flying, the ground slippery with blood, cries of agony, and their minds completely calm. They developed the Kokyu technique, abdominal breathing, where a single, complete breath took between 40 and 60 seconds. Try doing that now. Impossible, right? The samurai did it during combat. When you control your breathing like that, you control your nervous system. When you control your nervous system, panic becomes impossible. Battle records describe severely wounded samurai fighting with the same technical precision because Fudoshin kept them functioning beyond normal human capacity. Samurai practiced naikan, a brutal form of self-reflection, analyzing every flaw, every weakness, every moment of cowardice in painful detail. Not to punish themselves, but to know their inner enemy better than any external enemy. They believed that every man has three enemies: fear, anger, and arrogance. And arrogance was the most dangerous because it blinds you. So, after brutal physical training, they made a mental list of all their mistakes, hesitated for half a second during a cut. Failure. Thought about food during meditation. Failure. Felt pride in a technique. A bigger failure because pride is arrogance in disguise. This created warriors who were simultaneously supremely confident and completely humble. Miyamoto Musashi wrote, "Know the enemy and know yourself, and in 100 battles you will never be defeated. But knowing yourself is much more difficult, and the preparation for seppuku, the ritual suicide." From adolescence, every samurai mentally practiced how they would take their own life if honor demanded it. When that moment arrived, they had to execute the ritual perfectly. Even with a 30-centimeter blade cutting their own intestines, even with pain beyond human comprehension, they could not scream, tremble, or show fear. The kaishakunin waited for the exact moment after the horizontal cut, where you made an upward movement with the blade. Only then would they decapitate you. But if they showed weakness beforehand, the shame haunted their family for generations. Some samurai spent the entire night in meditation before seppuku, visualizing each movement until the act became as familiar as breathing. The training of the senses through zanshin was permanent awareness. Even while sleeping, you kept part of your mind alert. They trained by sleeping in uncomfortable positions, in cold rooms, with random sounds during the night. The goal was to condition the brain to never completely shut down. In battle, armies attacked at dawn. A samurai who needed seconds to wake up was dead. They slept like wild animals, always between sleep and wakefulness. The warrior monks of the Enryakuji temple could detect sleeping intruders, waking instantly with their hand on their sword, completely alert in milliseconds. And everything came together in the concept of ichigo ichi, an encounter, an opportunity. Each moment was unique and unrepeatable. Each fight could be the last. When you face each situation as possibly the last, you cannot be partially present. The samurai trained this total presence by spending 8 hours polishing a sword, mentally counting each movement, maintaining exact pressure, perfect angle, without allowing the mind to wander. If distracted, they had to start from scratch. 8 hours lost for 3 seconds of distraction. Because in combat, 3 seconds of distraction means death. A samurai won not through superior technique, but by being completely present when the opponent, for a fraction of a second, was not.
Focus only on the present.
When we look at all these practices together, the misogi in the icy waters, the endless Caesar, the kangeko in extreme cold, the takuhatsu in deprivation, the meditation on death, the fudoshin and absolute mental control, the brutal naikan, the preparation for seppuku, the zanshin and constant vigilance, and the ichigo ichi of total presence, we understand that it wasn't military training. It was the complete reconstruction of what it means to be human. The samurai weren't trying to be better soldiers. They were trying to transcend human limitations, the fear of pain, the attachment to comfort, the terror of death, the distraction of the mind, the weakness of the body. And they succeeded, but at a cost that most today cannot imagine. If you enjoyed discovering these brutal disciplines that shaped history's most feared warriors, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more fascinating facts about the samurai.